This is Daniel Akomea-Agyin, and this is Fervent Wisdom. Gifts. So oftentimes the systems of the world tell us that we are good for nothing. If you go to school and you don't make an A or a B, you don't make a certain grade, you don't get into certain schools, and by so doing you miss certain opportunities in life. It is all around us. There are friends that I came up with who, because of their grace, they got the opportunity to enter America, and they were doing very good for themselves. They began to do very good for themselves. And there are also friends who didn't get as much grades as expected, and they couldn't go on to universities or to even go land a very good career, as it were. But you see, a wise man once said that the gifts of a man or a woman is what will bring them before kings. It makes room for them. This in Proverbs chapter 18 verse 16. And so no matter what the system says, there's a certain gift in you which can make room for you and bring you before kings and queens. And we have seen this so many times. We see it in the example of Bill Gates, in the example of so many people, so many other wonderful people in this world who, for some reason, were able to circumvent the system, and their gifts still brought them before kings and nobles. But how do you discover your gifts, and how do you use it profitably? I want to go on by telling you the greatest story which has ever been told. It was told by Jesus Christ. There was a king who was leaving his estate, and he called his three of his best servants, those who were managing his estate, and he gave them his belongings. He gave to one 5 talents of gold. You can look at it as $500,000. He gave to the other 2 talents of gold, $200,000, and he gave to the one talent of gold, $100,000. The story goes on to say that 2 of them decided to invest the talents of gold that the master gave them into the same businesses that they were aware of, right? They were aware of. And then the one servant or the one manager decided that he wasn't going to invest. He has received 1 talent. When the master comes, he's just going to give him back the 1 talent. And so the master went on a long journey. He didn't tell them about the time of his arrival, but eventually he came and he called them for accounts, for the accounting of whatever they did with the talents of gold that he gave them. And when the one with the 5 talents came, he had gotten an additional 5 talents. The one with the 2 talents came and had gotten an additional 2. And the one with the 1 talent was very, very interesting, because he came and he said that, I know you're a wicked man, because you reap where you have no sown. You expect that I will use your money to generate more money for you, right? That all my energy will go into using your money to generate more money for you. I don't want to be involved with such kind of thing. And the man told him that, well, if you didn't even want to use your energy to generate more money for me, you could have gone and given it to the investors so that they will use their energy. Instead of putting the money to lie down idle, at least you will get some 10%, 20% interest on the money that I gave you. Because you still don't have to work, because your problem is that you don't want to work for an increase. Fine, but just give it to somebody who is willing to work and is willing to pay you for working with the money that you gave him. This is very important, because your gifts is what will open doors for you. Your gift is what will make room for you, and your gift is what will bring you before kings and nobles and queens. You see, I believe that the manager or the king, when he was leaving, if this guy was not capable of building wealth with anything you give him, he wouldn't have called him to give him 1 talent of gold. I don't think so. I think he called his best 3 managers, because he knew they know how to manage wealth. But for some reason, this guy decided that this time around, I'm not going to do anything with these gifts. He gave me 1 talent of gold. When he comes, I give him back 1 talent of gold, and I'm good, right? He decided to hide his talent. And by hiding his talent, we all know the story. He was condemned, and the 1 talent of gold that was given to him was taken and given to the one who brought back 5 talents of gold. Now I want to talk about the person of Jesus Christ. He said in John chapter 15 verse 5 that I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and my word in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. You see, Jesus is the original gift to mankind who was placed on this earth. Think of a gift as a tree. Every tree has a fruit or bears fruit, and the fruit is a gift of the tree. And when you take the fruit, the gift of the fruit is a seed, because when you plant the seed, that is when you get another big tree which produces more fruit. So Jesus Christ is the original tree, and when we partake of him, he plants his seed in us, and then we become trees which bear fruits unto many to also partake of. The gift of a tree is to feed others. Your gift that Christ gave to you is to feed others. You better have to use your gift for this purpose. If your gift was only to feed you and your close circles, there would not be any reason for God to give it to you. He could have done it with any other person in your close circles. But God gave you a gift because for such a time as this, you need to use your gift to feed many people. Whatever it is, it could be anything. It could be counseling children. It could be counseling people. It could be getting people together to work. Whatever your gift is, God has placed it in you. Some of us have 1 gift, some have 2 gifts, some have 10 gifts, some have 20 gifts. I pray that by the end of time, you shall have used all your gifts properly and effectively as God willed for you to use them. And so I pray for you that God will help you to find your gifts in you. God will help you and give you the strength and the wisdom and the knowledge to be able to use those gifts mightily and generate more profits out of using your gifts. That when God comes and asks you for an account of what you did with your gifts, he shall look at you and say, "Well done, faithful servant," and give you a share of his kingdom. May God richly bless you.